Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
So I thought that this was a good episode to talk about what we are thankful for. Matthew, your list sounds like it might be shorter than mine, so what do you want to get started?
Yeah, hold on a second.
So, actually, the first thing I want to say, we're going to do a little double plug here because it's the holiday season. The first thing that I'm thankful for is you, our viewers, and especially you, our patrons, because you guys are what is helping us to wake up and go into our home offices every Tuesday night,
or the dining room,
whatever. Not that I haven't been sitting here all day, but like I'm very thankful for the support that we've gotten a good amount of support from people, and I really appreciate everything everyone is doing on that end. I also am thankful for the two guys that log on here every Tuesday with me, Matthew and Alex, who you have seen before, but even though he was on 3 minutes ago, you didn't see because he was in invisible mode. Only Matthew and I could see him.
But besides doing some guest spots when I can't make it to fulfill my duties, you can see Alex regularly on Exit Interviews, one of our other little projects that we do, where we fulfill our fantasies of quitting our jobs every week for a different reason. And Alex is, with the three of us share that load equally. So Alex is an excellent improviser in those pieces with us.
Yeah, and he's great at sharing the load.
I am thankful that Alex is not a shitty improviser when you invited him to do that with us. The fact that he is good, because I've worked with a lot of shitty improvisers, a lot of amazing improvisers, but a lot of shitty ones too. And I really enjoy working with someone that I have trust in.
That's good.
Not like when I do it with you.
I was literally just... I can be a better improviser than you guys have seen. But part of the problem is that my brain is always scattered because I'm trying to get ready for this every week too. So
I know. In the 6 years we've known each other, I'm sure one day I'll see you improvise well.
Yeah, probably not. All right. So, what are we thankful for outside of the patrons?
Okay, outside of patronizing,
talking about the big.
Besides patronizing our patrons, well, I'll say that there's a handful of our patrons that are amongst my dearest friends, my chosen family. People I get random texts from, like I got an angry text when we talk about 80s movies. Ghostbusters is art. I'm like, oh, I didn't know Kevin listens to the podcast. I got an angry text, so I guess he does. So Kevin, Mikey, Cherry Butt, those people who are their chosen family, and I'm thankful that I'm thankful two little things. First of all, for my family, right? We all generally say that unless we have family we hate, but I have no family that I hate because my family is all in good places. But also that I have an extended chosen family. My parents were big in that when we were kids. That his partner Leon was my Uncle Lee my whole childhood, right? Like he was as much my uncle as my uncles were, and so I have fostered that with my kids. That Mikey is Uncle Mike. Anyone they knew they were young, but like there's people like Cheryl and Mikey and Kevin and Romney and I'm not going to forget names, but there's other like people, Elliot, who have become family to my family.
Harvey Weinstein.
I'm thankful for them. Of course, Harvey Weinstein.
You gotta thank Harvey Weinstein. It just sounded like you were doing the Oscar thing. That's why I had to say it.
We are
not pro Harvey Weinstein.
Start, so what a good, but we got to realize Harvey Weinstein. He will be pardoned probably within in 2 or 3 months.
Didn't some of his stuff get?
He's not. It's state, I think, so he's not going to get pardoned. I think his stuff is state. Yeah. He did have some stuff. Some things get avoided and have to go back to trial because of how the evidence was done. Like he wasn't found innocent of it. It was just evidence was used that shouldn't have been used or something like that.
Yeah.
Or something. I think the evidence wasn't shared with the defense that should have been shared with the defense or something like that. So, but nothing that would stop him from still being in jail.
Yeah.
So having a good solid family, and I lost a couple of members of my family this year. That wasn't very nice. But having our family around, I'm thankful that I was able to be in the room with my dad, that my wife was able to be in the room with her mom as it passed, so we didn't we had closure. Had great conversations with my father about the fact that the end was near, even though the end was sudden and we didn't expect it. Even things were touch and go a couple of times over the weeks before, so we had good clearing conversations. So nothing was left unsaid, and with her mom, we had talked to her that we were moving into hospice, not into recovery. So nothing was left unsaid with her. So I'm thankful that we had positive exits for them. Their exit interviews went well, and I'm thankful that only my mother is joining us for Thanksgiving this year, so I don't have to cook a giant meal. I can just get a turkey breast and just make the breast, not have to worry about making a whole turkey and time everything right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my first round. Back to you.
I'll start with family stuff. I'm thankful for obviously Logan and Sarah. Logan's been like really amazing. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the time I've been taking off from work, the last couple months, I feel like I've connected with Logan in a new way, which has been amazing. And I'm sure you see this too, but like your kids, like there's those moments where they like level up in speech, or they have a growth spurt, or they just level up in their awareness. And I got to be home for what could be one of the last like kind of like obvious levels up.
Yeah, I'm saying that kind of time though is always the same. Is always that level of value. Like as amazing as it is, and I'm not downplaying it all. When I quit Glaxo the first time around, and I took 6 months off because Jacob was a senior in high school, and I wanted time to reconnect and make up for all the time I've been working before he went off to college. That time with him and with his siblings was amazing when I wasn't working. Like to actually be with them 8 hours a day was really amazing.
Yeah.
Even at that age, it was like seeing like, oh, I didn't realize how much they grew from middle school to high school until I got to spend unadulterated time with them, where I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not thinking I go back to work when my vacation is over. Having a huge block of time. Joseph and I went to Disney World for a week, and it was just amazing. Just like up and went.
Yeah. It's been really nice getting all that, but in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I noticed he leveled up again, and like he went from it was linguistics is what I usually notice it most about, but like he went from like you've talked to him, he's a pretty well spoken 8-year-old, but he went in the last 3 or 4 weeks to like fully understanding like fully just incorporating idioms that we don't use in front of him, that are like relatively, I wouldn't say complicated, but like they're not the simplest, most basic ones. And he just started incorporating, whether it was from YouTube or his teachers say them, and he's using everything in context. And it was like, oh, I said it to Sarah. I always try to like make a note of it mentally and by pointing it out. And I said like he leveled up, like, and it's been really cool getting to be home with him, right after school and stuff. So. And obviously Sarah. It's been nice to be home with Sarah when she's not crazy busy at work, which is randomly throughout the day because she works weird hours. So it's
not just nooners; it's whatever hour she happens to be downtime.
So not just sex stuff. Obviously, it's like we drop Logan off and then we take a little ride, and maybe we go get stuff we need at Target in the morning, or and we get back to the house for like 8:30.
Isn't it terrible that we're at a point in our lives where going shopping together is like a date?
Yeah.
Like, honey, we can go to Costco and try things and the samples.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah. It's not the only family thing. So also my family obviously came down for my 40th. A lot of my family did. That's been really awesome. That was really awesome to see everybody down here.
Yeah, and your dad doesn't hate me as much as he used to.
My dad doesn't hate you at all. Yeah.
I think we got along great at the party.
Yeah, no. And I was thankful for that too. That that we didn't, between my liberal in-laws and my liberal friends and my conservative family, that we didn't have any clashes at all. So that
lucky it was when it wasn't a month and a half, 2 months later.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that
But we didn't. None of it. We didn't talk politics about this. We talked family and
yeah.
parenting and just swapping. I mean, though actually, my wife and daughter brought up politics because they always do. Because people say, "What do you do?" and they talk about their activism right away.
Yeah.
So and it's clear their activism is lefty activism. But it wasn't an issue with anyone. Like we want to stop kids from getting shot. It's hard to say no, get kids shot. Like they didn't say take away guns. They want gun safety.
Yeah.
So yeah. So while we're in the topic of politics, national politics sucks. But I'm thankful that North Carolina kind of set up a little bit of a shield for ourselves. So we got a Democratic governor instead of a psycho, crazy black Nazi freak.
I got to use Mark Robinson as a teaching example today, because Logan.
Don't make comments on porn message boards with your normal email address.
That's what I told Logan. No, no. Logan is he's reading Harry Potter. In school they're doing it, and he's doing it at home. And he was like, Voldemort is a half-blood, and he hates half-bloods. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that's a good moment.
I said, so here's the thing. Oftentimes, when we talk about hate, there isn't really much logic to it. There's not much reason to it. And so because of that, a lot of times people end up hating something that kind of applies to them. I'm like, Hitler is famously part Jewish, and he wanted to kill all the Jews.
And he's Austrian, not German. Like German with a master race, but he wasn't even German.
Yeah, and I said, you know about Mark Robinson, who almost was, or not almost, but tried to be governor,
second choice.
And he goes, yeah, and I said, he's black, right? And he goes, yeah. I said, no, he doesn't identify as black because he doesn't like all the things he thinks make people black, other than just skin color, and so he doesn't think those things about himself. So he doesn't call himself black or doesn't think of himself as black because. I didn't tell Logan the stereotypes. I wasn't going to be like...
Well, he doesn't want to be associated with black activists because he thinks they're whiners. So he doesn't like identifying as...
Well, didn't you say at one point that he said, I'm not black because black people are lazy or whiny or whatever?
Well, whiny, and it was really about black activism, like people wanting... wanting equal rights and stuff. And he goes, they're just whining.
Yeah. Alex, don't cut that clip to me saying that.
And... yeah, but he also said he wished that slavery was still around because there's some people that should be slaves, and he wouldn't mind owning a few.
With the Pornhub stuff, I kind of wonder if he meant sex slaves. But anyway, so it was an interesting...
Possible. I mean, anyway, as far as I'm concerned, if you make any comments on a porn website, you are not qualified to be in a leadership position. I don't care what it is. Even if it's like, this was hot. Or, oh, I like the encyclopedia set behind them. I don't care what it is. If you take the time to have an account to make comments, no.
Unless you are a creator who is responding to comments, because I wouldn't be opposed to a porn actor or actress running.
Yeah. A professional's a professional. That's I agree.
Yeah, I do. I think it's weird as fuck to be a person who comments on porn. I don't know if you remember this, but back maybe 10 years ago, there was a little share button the way there are on other, like YouTube.
I remember the Citation Needed podcast when they were talking about Pornhub's top categories, talking about that. Like, when do you use that? When do you share it on Facebook?
Social
your favorite gangbang.
Hey guys, just wanted you guys to see, but what's her face took nine different at the same time. She was triple airtight. So
yeah. So as I was saying, state politics wise, happy that Josh Stein won North Carolina, and our Jeff Jackson won for Attorney General because the Dan Bishop, who is running from the Republican side, was the person who authored the infamous bathroom bill that was the anti-trans bill. So it's great that he didn't win. Our Secretary of State, Sonny Marshall, got reelected. We broke the supermajority because just this week. Just today, actually, they overrode one of Governor Cooper's vetoes because they have a supermajority and they just can. Though I think 3 Democrats voted for the override because they're scum. But next year, they don't have a supermajority in the House anymore. So if all of the Democrats are in lockstep and defending, they can protect a Josh Stein veto. If he has any power left, because of course the Republicans are trying to pass laws to take away as much governor power as possible before they lose their supermajority, because that they don't believe in democracy. They only believe in getting their way. But
States' Rights Party really likes to strip away states' rights when it works for them.
And but I'm really thankful that we got four Congress people, including our districts. So do you have Valerie Fouchi or do you have Deborah Ross still?
I see more stuff for Deborah Ross, so I think that's.
Well, you voted. Who did you vote for?
I don't know. I use the cheat sheet.
So anyway, either Valerie or Deborah would be, between our houses. I'm not sure.
I didn't vote. I'm joking. I voted. I promise I voted. Matthew has left the podcast.
I'm thankful that it's on my way to your house. Would you like to see the Japanese sword that my uncle brought back from World War II?
Give me taste the marinara. Give me the marinara.
Give me that marinara. But yeah, so I'm happy that on our state level we gained some stuff and we protected some stuff.
Good.
And I'm happy to have played a small part in it. I think I worked with the Americans for Prosperity, not prosperity, but prosperity. We did we started with a bunch of Mark Robinson material, parody of Mark Robinson, until we discovered nobody knew who Mark Robinson was. They were just going to vote Republican, whoever it was. And they didn't know, like I did a Man on the Streets interview and nobody I talked to knew he was the candidate. They just knew they're going to vote Republican.
In some ways, though, that probably was effective to make him because if they had just voted Republican, which clearly, I don't think that many people were voting for Trump that weren't, voting.
Wouldn't have otherwise voted for him, but they didn't. But yeah, we pivoted
Trump
once we
won
realized
here,
that.
and
yeah. Well, it's funny because Josh Stein, our Democratic governor, got more votes than Trump got in the state. I have to check what the latest counts were, but right after election night, it was like 3 million he got, and Trump had like 2.8 million. So it's people who just voted for either split their ticket or people didn't vote for both things,
Yeah.
And
or conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but we no, because why wouldn't we conspiracy both ways? Like, why wouldn't they give it to Robinson too?
I agree, but I've been hearing so many people and I'm like, oh, I don't think this is helpful. Like, if there's real evidence, I want to know, but I have not seen any real evidence that there's a conspiracy.
Yeah, I feel like it would be up and down the ticket. If you're going to do it right.
And Lance.
But I was saying, we pivoted once we realized no one knew who Mark Robinson and Mark Robinson connection was. And we did Mark Robinson things. And we did like a full AI commercials that got tons of media press because it was the first political commercials done with AI. And we did them very obviously over the top AI because we weren't trying to fool anybody. We were having him say things that Mark Robinson actually said and saying, we got the receipts. Go look at our website, realrotten.com. And you can see links to his Facebook page where he says these things. And then after the CNN article came out about Mark Robinson on the porn site, we pivoted again to Michelle Morrow, who was a Jan 6er. She was at January 6th. She's a conspiracy theorist. She homeschooled her kids, and she's running for superintendent of public instruction.
She's the one that you showed me the video of the guy.
The Good
and
Liars.
She kept going the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay. So we partnered with the Good Liars to do that video with her, where they tried to get her to sign a printout of a tweet where she said "kill Obama" on pay-per-view, and she refused to sign it for some reason. She wasn't proud of it anymore, even though she still has it on her Twitter feed. And when we helped hopefully her not get elected because we switched to things about her. We ran a plane flying over the state fair with one of those signs behind it, like the "Marry Me" things, except it was, "Are you on Michelle's kill list?" Michelle'slist.com. That went to think about all the different politicians she said should be killed. And, so we think we helped there. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to be regrouping with the team as we start to plan what we're going to do next year. So kind of excited.
Good.
Thankful to be politically involved by doing comedy with people I like.
Yes, yeah. And when it's effective, when you're actually getting to see some result from it.
Yeah.
That's, I'm sure, especially in times when it feels real. Some of this has felt real I don't want to say defeatist, but like
fighting a holding
futile.
action sucks, and we're doing it again. We're back to not fighting to make gains. We're just fighting not to lose too much, and that's a sucky way to have to fight. But it's even a more important way to have to fight.
Yep. Yeah. I guess this is something it's not something I'm thankful for, but it's something that you just reminded me of with the Mark Robinson and other stuff. But
you're thankful for your VPN so you can see Pornhub.
No, I don't have a VPN. I just have an amazing wife. I so I follow an Instagram account that posted an article today, and it was all the pictures of the black people who helped stump for Trump, all the people who helped fight for Trump, and how not a single one of them is getting an appointment. So like Ben Carson, even though he got an appointment the first time, no appointment this time. Tim Scott, Candace Owens, and they were like these, like he'll use you, but he's not going to help you. And like they are like this is the proof of it is he's doing it to these high profile people who did what they could for him, and he's doing nothing back for them, which is
par for the course. But
yeah.
I mean, so the one thing that nothing is worth the pain that we're going to go through. Nothing is worth the damage that's going to be done to marginalized communities. And like, don't get me wrong, nothing is worth this. But at least I will have some joy watching it happen to people who supported him. Like when RFK Jr. starts saying, "Oh, vaccines can't be requirements for schools anymore, or the schools lose their funding, and so the kids don't have to get vaccinated." I don't want any kids to get sick, but I do want parents to warn them.
I would love for people to come around. I would love for the public as a whole, for the voting body as a whole, to come around to what I consider to be the right side by means of persuasive argument and seeing results and statistics.
That's
and stuff.
silly. That's silly because the number one differentiator between a Trump voter and a Harris voter is education, intelligence, and what they call low information voters, which means stupid people. And stupid people vote for Trump. Yeah. Exactly. So like it's hard to sway them with reason, because if they understood intelligence, logic, evidence, rhetoric, they wouldn't vote for Trump. They like him because he's funny to them, and they're too stupid to know any better. I mean, watching social media, watching people find out what tariff means now. I mean, did you people not watch Ferris Bueller when Ben Stein, famously a speechwriter for Richard Nixon, does the whole class lesson about how tariffs put us deeper in debt after the Depression instead of taking us out of debt? It's in the goddamn classic 80s movie.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was going to say. I want to, maybe this is a topic we can talk about in a couple weeks when we come back or whatever, or the new year or whatever. But I really want to talk about the algorithm and algorithm-based echo chambers, because I really wonder. Now, there is some extent to which I think there's a little bit of la 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 la, I can't hear you, but there are arguments, and I think we talked about it a little bit. You and I and Alex have talked about it a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but I really do wonder about how much of these arguments people aren't hearing. Like the tariffs thing was blasted for 6 months to a year, so people Googling it now feels like, did you not get those in the algorithms, or did you ignore it because it was a Democrat saying it?
Or they don't follow an algorithm for political conversation. They watch clips of Trump and say he's so cool, and they don't listen to any of the words that he's actually saying.
I just wonder, because my algorithm has done such a good job of letting me know certain things. And I'll give you an example that didn't come up this election cycle, but I think is a big one. We've been talking about Black Lives. The phrase Black Lives Matter is 10 years old, roughly. Like, it's been pretty public consciousness, 10 years roughly.
Sure. And
I still every once in a while hear somebody, when they say all lives matter, or when someone says, why do they have to attack all lives matter? It's like, we've explained this to death. Like, how do you not know?
Yeah.
Like, how have you not heard we're not talking about.
If I say my dad died of esophageal cancer, you don't say, oh, but other cancers are bad too. I'm like, I was talking about my dad dying. There's a specific conversation.
Right. And so I really genuinely wonder, because I keep hearing certain things that I'm like, we've as a society, we've covered this. How are you not there? And then I'm like, maybe it's just because my algorithm is so specific to me, and I do things to try to mess with it to get out of my algorithm. But I do wonder how many of these points that I'm like, this is settled Like this has been talked to death,
Well,
and then people have never heard it before.
There's cognitive dissonance, right? They've heard the words, but their brain did not absorb it because they don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
So that happens. So even though the word's been said, it doesn't make an imprint. So every time they hear it, it's the first time.
I'll give you another example of why I think this is a bigger problem than just that, too.
But they're also stupid. You can explain it all you want. They're stupid. So explaining it isn't useful.
No, I'm explaining to you.
But I'm saying that's another reason that that it's not saturated, because they're too dumb to understand the analogy.
Sure. But my ideal person across the aisle from me, my father-in-law, who is a liberal Democrat, not a progressive Democrat.
Across the Democrat aisle.
Yeah. He, I realized how big the algorithm difference is, because after the election, we were talking about certain things, and I said something about it's just a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing with the Gaza stuff, and I think that really had an effect. I don't know that was the thing, but it was a thing that affected this election cycle. And he goes, I don't think that's even an issue. I'm like, what have you been watching? I'm like, it's the number one thing I've heard.
For anyone under 30, it was the biggest issue.
And yeah, well, I mean, I'm not under 30, but
it wasn't your. Wasn't. I'm saying it's not your biggest issue, but you heard about it because it's their biggest issue.
Well, no, I would say I heard about it more than any other issue.
Yeah.
On the left, and he was like, I don't think that even entered the conversation. I'm like, it absolutely did. And so and he's not burying his head in the sand. He's just, I mean, part of that is internet media versus CNN, versus cable news.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's part of that, but that is maybe not an algorithm specifically, but it's a different
the source of where you get your news from.
Yeah.
Depends. That's what you hear. Yep. So here's something I'm thankful for, since you mentioned the algorithm. The new, well, not new, but new to me, the exodus from Odys to Blue Sky. So Blue Sky as social media. For one, they don't have an algorithm.
Yeah.
So when you like posts on it, you're just liking posts to tell the person who posted it and other people who see it that you like it. It doesn't increase it going in anyone's feed because you liked it. If you want someone to see the thing you see, you comment on it or share it. So it's not like a popularity contest that what gets a lot of likes gets forced into people's feeds.
Is it better than Threads?
Yes. And it says less bullshit than Threads, for me at least, because there's no algorithm. Like, it's not pushing cat videos to me, because they're popular. So you get to follow the people you want to follow and see the content you want to see. There's and the mantra seems to be, if someone's a MAGA asshole, just block them. Don't have a debate. Don't ever argue. And people say, yeah, it's going to be an echo chamber. But guess what? It's okay to have a place that's a safe place that's an echo chamber. You don't have to be on social media to get your blood pressure up. That's not what it's for. It's to organize and to be informed. You can go to other places to hear what they're saying.
Is it specifically political based, or
no? It's not. But you can follow who you want to follow. It started as an IT based thing. It was IT heads doing it. But there's things called starter kits where you can find a list of North Carolina liberals and click follow, and you follow all 20 of them in one button instead of having to go search them out. Other people curate lists for you, which you can block or unfollow if you don't like them, but it helps you get a start on whatever topic you want. So you can look for YouTubers, filmmakers, content creators, and that can be all you follow. And there's no algorithm. So politics will not be forced in your feed if you don't follow it. You'll see what you want to see.
Last question on Blue Sky. Can I have all 19 of my accounts of my different projects available on?
I would imagine so. I don't know if I guess you probably need a unique email address for each, but I think you need that in Twitter and Instagram anyway.
I have a lot of emails.
Yeah, I think I do that for mine anyway. I have different Gmail addresses for all my different things. So, you can switch between accounts within the app, because I have one for Triangle Free Thought, and I created theirs and mine the same day, and I can jump between them within the app. So yeah, you can have multiple accounts within the app on your phone, and not just online. So yeah, it will allow you to do that. So
I'm
like
making one right now.
Yeah, and so I'm thankful for a new home of social media that's not feeling so toxic.
Good. I am. I'm thankful for that too. As you know, I quit Facebook for the most part in 2004. I use it a little bit.
2004, man.
Nope.
Before I even met you, is rough.
In 2020, In 2020, I did that. 2004 is the year I joined Facebook the first time. No, but I did that because of the election cycle. I was just like, I gotta get out of this. I was starting to feel that way a little bit the last few months about Instagram a little bit, although like Instagram is pretty quick to be able to reroute your algorithm, and people aren't really picking fights the same way they do on Facebook. So
it's easier not to read the comments on Instagram because it's about the content, not the comments.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thankful for that. I am. I'm really. I do actually have a lot that I'm thankful for.
Well, it's your turn, so be thankful for something.
Well, what I was gonna, what I will. This is somewhat related. This year, so and I do this every year, but this year I think I've actually been decent about actually doing it. At some point early in the fall, I decide this is going to be the year that I'm not going to be a grumpy asshole about the holidays. And I include.
God, you were such a pain in the ass about Diwali. Oh, fucking Diwali with your lights. Now, which holidays were you talking about?
Well, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Made it through Halloween pretty well. But I've been like, I've been actually planning some stuff for Christmas, and like, as far as like, I think we know what we're getting Logan, and so we've been doing stuff, and I feel like I'm not as stressed out about it. We haven't tried to decorate yet. That's always where it gets me, is because we push it off, and then all of a sudden at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, Sarah's like, let's go, like 11 o'clock at night, Sarah's like, let's go do the Christmas tree. And I'm like, what the fuck? We have a fake Christmas tree, which I'm not sure if I can access right now from in the garage. But so like, I'm always stressed about that stuff, but I've been trying not to be. So, and this year with everything that I've been going through, like I have a lot of anxiety. I've been having anxiety attacks about other stuff, but Christmas is not doing for me what it usually does. So I am thankful that think we're going to have a pretty good holiday season as a family, and that I'm not going to be the grumpy Grinch that ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, we're going to Myrtle Beach over Christmas week. Because again, we don't really celebrate Christmas because neither side of my family has a Christmas background. We're atheists, but we're not being grumpy atheists saying we don't celebrate Christmas. I mean, I grew up celebrating Hanukkah. My wife grew up celebrating Diwali. It just wasn't a thing. No negativity. It just was a thing, except for all my best friends were Italian. So I did Christmas Eve dinner at one Italian house, Christmas Day dinner at another Italian house, happily celebrated their Christmases. But we're going to go to Myrtle Beach. I can't find a dim sum place in Myrtle Beach on Yelp or on the web. So I think we're going to get random Chinese and go to an Asian market and buy frozen dim sum. And I'm going to bring the Instant Pot with steamer baskets, and we'll steam our own dim sum to complement Chinese food.
Speaking of dim sum, have you had Q noodles in Cary?
No, I've seen them on social media, but I've not had them.
We tried them a couple weeks ago, and we were like, "Oh, that's good." And then we went back just to, because sometimes you have one good experience or you have one bad experience. So we usually try things twice. Second time was maybe better than the first time because we were a little less like, we don't know what to do. And then we went, and then that was like Thursday, and then my father-in-law came to see us on Sunday, and we were all like, what do we want to do for lunch? And Sarah was like, let's take him to Q Noodle. I'm like, okay. So I think it's great. I think we should, you should try it out. Also that, is it Fratelli? Fratelli's that it?
Yeah, Fratelli's. We were at Outer Banks last week, and on the way back, Madhavi was reading the Fratelli's menu to me in the car. We were like, we should just stop there and get food on the way home. And then so they close at 1 on Sunday, and we would get there like at 1:15. Like there was no way we were going to make it in time. But I do like the Fratelli's. Fratelli's is a New Delhi, everyone, and it's kind of cool because it's got like Chicago classics, New York classics, New Jersey, like it's got, instead of bacon, egg, and cheese, it's got a pork roll, egg, and cheese. So it's a New Jersey classic. It's got not just bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, which are a New York classic, but it's got just a buttered Kaiser roll, which is a New York classic. Doesn't sound like a breakfast, but in New York, that's a breakfast you get, just buttered roll. And so it's great. They have Chicago Italian beef. They do a great job of saying what are the classic deli type things in America, and they bring it to life there, at least according to the menu. And you've been there a couple times, right? I haven't been there yet.
I've been there twice.
Looking forward to it.
I really liked the first thing I got. The second thing I got was, because I've been there twice now. The second thing I got was just too much. So it was like a chicken cutlet sandwich with like they turned a fried chicken cutlet into like a caprese with balsamic and mozzarella and tomatoes. It was like good stuff.
They combine a cutlet sandwich and a caprese sandwich into one sandwich.
Except that they used 2 chicken cutlets, and it was so salty. Like I got like halfway through, and I was like, "Sarah, you want to swap halves?" So that like I was like, I'm literally worried I'm gonna like this is giving me like
dehydrating.
And so like
I need Pedialyte for my sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Chicken cutlet sandwich is Leah's favorite thing. Like the pizzeria we generally go to, Mezzaluna in Apex. She gets it like first time I talked her into trying a chicken cutlet sandwich. She's like, "You've ruined me for any other fried chicken sandwich. Like, there's no other chicken sandwich I can eat now."
I had their chicken parm in the last week too, and it is really good.
Yay!
All right. Let's see.
I had another thing before you rambled. I can't remember what it was. There was a thing. There was a mem.
A mem.
See, you hate Jews. You don't know Jewish comedy. So that's from the classic 2,000-Year-Old Men, Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks.
Oh,
he goes, it's like he asks him about his wives. He goes, "Let's see, mem. He goes, mem. He goes, "Yes, you stumbled on it. Mem. There was a mem."
Nice.
Yeah, their improv was delightful. I am thankful for things you could be thankful for. I don't know what that is.
I'm also thankful for I didn't get the travel that I wanted this year. Obviously I've talked about the fact
country.
Well, no, I did, but not to Italy. But I am thankful because, Sarah and I got to take my mom to Hawaii this year, which was one of the 2 big trips I was hoping to do. Logan was with us. But I also got 3 new states up on the big board.
There's a big empty space right in the middle of the country, which is what the middle of the country is.
I'm gonna do this badly, but I need Oklahoma, Kansas. I think those are the 2 that I need in the middle right there. I have also, the marker was starting to run, so some of them aren't fully filled in yet that we did do. But we got 3 new states. I did joke. I said to Sarah, I was like, "It'd be really cool if I got to, when I go back to work." They were like, "How is your time off?" And I was like, "I finished the states."
So time off. That reminds me. Here's something thankful. I'm thankful that I was able to change jobs this year. So while I love the company BMRU and what they stand for and what they do and the people I worked with, reorg was in the air. I could smell it. There was a reorg is probably coming, and I didn't want to deal with that stress again and have it be on their terms if we lose our jobs or not, if they restructure. And a lot of my good friends on the U.S. team lost jobs who did great work. So I took it upon myself to find a new job and returned to GSK, this time in the ViiV HIV company, and which is an amazing company that does amazing work. We make drugs that have, basically beating HIV. People live their lives again because of the drugs that we and our competitors make. So I feel really good about what I'm doing. And I'm feel good that I got my 20 years of credit back from the company, which puts me well on a path to retirement with good benefits, better benefits than I would have had at BMRU as retirement benefits.
Yeah, so, and that's good because Chocolate Diamond is not paying benefits at this point.
Nah, Chocolate Diamond's not paying the bennies yet.
You would not ever be able to retire from Chocolate Diamond either. So
yeah, that's what my goal. My goal is to be able to retire from the day job and be able to do more creative things, but maybe get a job doing what I'm good at in corporate world of digital marketing, but for like a nonprofit or something at not a life sustaining at my current level salary, just to add a salary to supplement my retirement salary, but to be able to still do something, but not with the stress level that I have.
Nice. All right. I am thankful that 2024 is almost over, and I'm also, as much as I'm not thankful with the results of the
2025 is going to
election.
be worse.
True. As much as I'm not thankful for the results of the election, I am thankful that it's fucking over. Because I just don't like the actual cycle of elections, especially when they last 2 years in this country. I was in the Bahamas the weekend before the election, and one of our tour guide was like, "You guys have an election on Tuesday. You guys, your election cycle is so long." And I was like, "What's yours like?" And he goes, "Like a year, like start to finish." And I was like, "Oh, that's so nice."
Like England, when they say we're going to have an election in 4 months, that's
Yeah,
their cycle because they just decided they're going to do it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's benefits to our system. Like, I like the fact that elections are not just picked like randomly. Like, I like the fact that we have a specific regimented time. I don't love the fact that allows us to do this. Like it will not be 2026 yet before we start heavily speculating as to who's going to be the 2028.
Well, it'll be right after the 2026 midterms, like that. Like as soon as you get to the
Sure, that
midterms,
yeah,
who did well, where, and did and reposition themselves will be
sure, but
that'll instantly be the conversation. Will be
there'll
right
be
after
some
that.
early talks though where they'll be putting too many eggs in that basket or whatever, when they'll be like, oh
Yeah, actually, I'm already hearing talk about it too. Because on one of the pods I listened to, Pod Save America, I think was talking about there's a coalition of governors who are like putting together. Here's what we're going to do to fight back against Trump, which I feel is a little premature. Wait until he's actually done something to fight back again, or has not done it, but has an actual plan to fight against. Like, don't fight against Trump, fight against the plans. Like,
right,
protect the
right,
plans,
and
not the person.
I also
Because he
think the
might
way
do
we
some things that are right,
yeah,
potentially.
I also think the way we word it, as much as I hate that we have to be the good ones all the time, the way that we word things is important. And so, like, safeguarding so that Trump can't do bad stuff is different than here's how we fight back against when he
Right.
hasn't
And
done
I don't want to
anything
be Mitch McConnell saying, we're going to make Obama fail. Like, it's not about making
yet.
him fail. He's the president. We want him to succeed. We don't expect him to. We want him to.
We
We
want
want
him
to
to
stop.
succeed in the way we think
And
would be
we want to
best. Yeah.
succeed in having a presidency that helps the country. So if he does anything good, we want to support the good things. But in that conversation, like, I'm thinking, they're talking about the governors that didn't sign on, and they're like, there are some 2028 hopefuls, so I didn't want to hitch themselves to that boat and have, be forced to agree with a set of things that they may not be positive to have for their election. That they don't want to sign on to a caucus of ideas when they only believe in 70% of them.
Yeah.
And, or they might believe in them all, but some of them might hurt their 2028 potential.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, I don't know if Governor Cooper wants to run in 2028. I feel like he wants to run for something. I don't know if it's Senate or what, but I don't think he's done with politics because he's fighting to the end for he's not being a lame duck. He's fighting, to the end here.
And his kids are adults, right?
Yep, the youngest has her Master of Fine Arts already. Yeah, she was Leah's his voice teacher. It's her birthday tomorrow too. Happy birthday! As we record this, happy birthday, Claire Cooper, daughter of Governor Cooper, because it'll be your birthday on the 20th of November.
Why can I always think it's Gary. I know it's not Gary Cooper. What is his first name?
Roy.
Dressed
up like $1 million trooper. Being a governor like Roy Cooper. Super duper.
The reason I ask about his kids being adults is I think that, like, I get that a lot of our presidents have had children, a lot of our politicians have had children who are children at the time, but I think that there is a benefit to having, like, my kid, I don't have to to go worry about, my kid having a cold or hand, foot, and mouth.
So President Obama called Roy Cooper when President Obama was President Obama and asked him to run for Senate. And he said no because two of his kids were still in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he actually, didn't run for Washington, D.C. federal office because his kids were too young at the time.
Yeah. He wouldn't be too old, I don't think, to run. He's 67 years old right now. But in 4 years, he'll be 70. He'll be on the old end. And by the time, when you and I talked about him earlier, it was as a vice president with the hopes that like the vice president might be the president in 8 years. And in 8 years, he will be too old to run,
Yeah.
I think.
Now it's 4 years. It's a little better.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if that's what he wants, or maybe he wants Senate. Who knows? Or maybe he doesn't want anything at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like because I was hoping that he would be Attorney General under Harris.
Yeah.
Because he is not being investigated for human trafficking across state lines and statutory rape, unlike some Attorney General wannabes.
I think wannabe is strong. I think hopeful is because or what is the when they're nominated but they haven't been confirmed. What is that called?
Nominated.
Nominee? Like I didn't know. If,
I mean, he hasn't officially been nominated yet because Trump isn't in office yet. So he's just announced his intention to nominate him when he gets into office.
I thought they usually started the nomination and confirmation process on some of them early before the president takes office so that he can start with some people in place possibly.
I don't know. I think it waits until he's there. I think it's the first order of business. I think. I could be wrong. Because I don't know because they can't be in office because Merrick Garland's in office until January 21st. So
yeah, I think they get provision, like they get confirmed. They can get not confirmed, but approved by, like they can go through all the background check shit. Basically.
Well, so that's the other thing that's going on. It's not a thankful thing, but anyone who's in the transition team is supposed to be going through background checks and stuff so they can get their secure email and access to transfer of power stuff. And Trump's team refuses to do it. They haven't filled out their security paperwork. So none of them have been vetted. So everything they're doing on personal servers, the Butter email personal servers, or just general Gmail or whatever. They're not using government IT because they have not been approved to use government IT. They have not been in a federal building to meet with the people that they're supposed to work with for the transition team because they are afraid of background checks.
I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful. Anything that
but
makes
like they
them...
say that like 9/11 partially happened because Bush's team was so bad at the transition that they were not ready for it. Like it definitely did damage. So like it doesn't help the country that they don't transition well.
Agreed, but I also think that
it may stop them from doing what they want to do, but it also could make us in danger.
Yeah, but ultimately, like I'm not confident that they're going to be able to do much right. So if they can hinder themselves from doing much wrong, I take that as a consolation.
Yep.
The least amount of time that they have access to the nuclear codes and everything else.
Yeah. The thing that will save us most is their incompetence. Like that's the thing we're banking on the most, unfortunately.
And I'm thankful.
I'm thankful for their incompetence.
I'm thankful that there's plenty of it to go around. And the one thing that really worries me about if they did have like a relatively incompetent 4 years is that then people will be like, well, see, they didn't do anything bad. And then they try to vote for...
what I really hate about COVID, it killed 1.4 million Americans, but it covered up Trump's inadequacies to his voters. Like the economy was shit. Well, it was COVID. Even the fact it was turning to shit before COVID. Unemployment was going up before COVID. Like the fact that he got rid of the pandemic defense team, so COVID was worse for us than it would have been. All the things that did, but just it was COVID. It wasn't his fault. It helped him get reelected. I think like it helped him not get reelected when it was fresh in people's minds. But when people look back, and Americans are stupid. How many Americans blame Obama for 9/11? When he wasn't in office yet.
I do love the clips when they have the. Why wasn't he in the Oval Office on like doing his job on the? And I'm like, you're a fucking moron.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that like with what you were just about to say, what you were just saying about Trump's incompetence being covered up by the pandemic is it you never want. I'm going to go back to my old metaphor of explosive diarrhea. You never want explosive diarrhea, but if you're on the Titanic and it's already hit the boat, your embarrassment's not going to be lasting too long.
Maybe it'll propel you faster in the water to safety.
Yeah, maybe it'll keep you warm in the freezing cold water. So I mentioned I mentioned the Bahamas a few minutes ago. We went on
speaking of explosive diarrhea, yeah,
we went on a cruise, a 3-day cruise, the weekend before. I know the 3-hour cruise or a tour. My parents said the same thing, but we went on it because my sister's going on a 7-day cruise to Alaska, and we were like, we've never been on a cruise. We don't even know that we could handle being on the boat, so we went as a test drive, and we're like, it's the weekend before the election. It's
we're going to be throwing up anyway.
The last 3 great days of America, so let's leave America. And so but when we were talking about going, because we booked them on Tuesday and went on Friday because we were like, oh, we get this weekend off. Logan's out of school, and so it was real last minute. While we were planning it, Logan was kind of hesitant about going on a cruise, and he's like, what about the Titanic? And I was like, first of all, that was over 100 years ago. They've learned a lot as far as lifeboats and how to handle that.
Turning shit when they see an iceberg, they learn that. Yeah.
And they said, secondly, we're not going to be in any area near an iceberg because we're going
to be by the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Which is not as popular as it used to be. He probably doesn't even know what that is.
Yeah. So then he goes, yeah, but what if we hit something else other than an iceberg? And I was like, Logan, most of the people who died in the Titanic didn't die because they drowned. They died because they froze in the water, which I don't know that that's actually true.
But it sounds, I think it was, they got electrocuted from the battery.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a real big battery. So, and I said, they were up really far north, almost Nova Scotia, basically. And we're going to be Florida heading south. I'm like, we have no chance of freezing
we have
to
worry about is a hurricane forming and making a giant storm, like a perfect storm, and getting a rogue wave that topples the boat and just crushes us under its weight. That's what we have to worry about, not an iceberg.
So anyway, I told him that we didn't have to worry about freezing to death in the water because it was Florida in early November and that it would be fine. And we put our feet in the water a little bit on the beach, and it was nice.
Was it Carlin who'd say the most embarrassing thing is to drown in the pool on a cruise ship? Because you're in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by ocean, but you're floating in a dry spot. But there's one little wet spot where you are, and you drown in it.
Nice. Have you been on a cruise ship before?
I have not, and I don't intend to.
It's one of those things where my end result, I'm thankful for this. I liked the food. I didn't have any real problems with the swaying. There was a little bit the first night because I was exhausted from the drive down to Florida, where it felt like I was shit faced. But I didn't have a problem sleeping. I didn't feel like I was going to be sick at all. So I had no problem. Ultimately, my conclusion is things that you have to go on a cruise to go to, like Antarctica. I want to go to at some point in my life. I can do it when it comes to that. But it's not like my preferred mode of travel. What I was going to say, though, about it is, and I don't know if this is all cruise ships. I feel like it is not all cruise ships, but on this cruise ship, the pools were what I would think of as above ground pools on the decks with settled in. So they were the size and shape of an above ground pool, like a big metal can that had been emptied, cut up, and they give you extra space between the top of the water and the top of the pool, so that because they're swaying, and it was fucking weird. There was 45 people in a pool that feels like it should be in your backyard for 10 people, and if you had your feet planted on the floor of the pool, you're feeling the sway of the ocean while the pool is slopping back and forth. It was really weird. That was my number one.
I would have liked to have gone on a cruise prior to 2020.
Oh yeah.
But even besides the COVID cruises,
there was the shit cruises.
The shit cruises, the explosive diarrhea cruises. It doesn't seem like there are other ways to enjoy yourself than flip the coin that you're in one of those.
Yeah, your family is pretty anti-cruise, I know. You probably are okay with Penelope, but Ted and Tom, you're not.
Yeah, I'm not fans with either one of them.
Yeah.
He's just too damn short to be Reacher. That makes no sense. I mean, Jack Reacher is supposed to be a giant of a man. Like the Hulu series, that's Jack Reacher. Little bitty pocket-sized Tom Cruise is not Jack Reacher.
Yeah. Another thing I'm thankful for is I really got big into Guy Ritchie this year. Like I've seen some stuff in the past, but Guy Ritchie had a really good year or so with.
Do you like his Snatch?
I actually haven't seen Snatch all the way through before. I need to see it. But he had, you said Reacher, and that's what made me think of it. One of my favorite movies of the year was the Ungentlemanly Warfare. It's a long title, so I can never remember you know what I'm talking about, with Henry Cavill and Jack Reacher, and they play a British, like almost like a pirate spy ship that goes down to Africa during World War II.
I don't know if I've seen anything about that one.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was you know, it was basically Inglourious Bastards, but true and British. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It was awesome, and also one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, behind Sarah. Incredible movie. And also he had his TV series that he did, which I also loved. Like Guy Ritchie had a year between that and how's the name of it? The Gentleman, Ungentlemanly Warfare, and The Gentleman. I loved those things.
So polar opposites.
I know, but I like them both. All right. We've got about 15 minutes left.
And I am thankful for Deadpool Wolverine. That was delightful.
Okay, so do you want to start unraveling this?
We are thankful, even in the worst of times, even here in the end times, there is a way to find some things to grasp onto and be thankful for. And those things that we are thankful for are things we need to fight for to continue into the next year. So don't let the dystopian black future of death and despair that we are in for in the coming months stop you from finding those things to be thankful for, those things that give you the energy to fight and to keep up the holding action that we have to do so that my wife doesn't get denaturalized and deported.
Yeah. Okay. I fully sign off on those, but I was meaning like let's.
Hey, if you're watching us on video, go ahead and like the video. If you make comments, that would be even great because the algorithm loves comments. If you haven't subscribed to our page, subscribe to our page. If you have subscribed to our page or you subscribe right now, go ahead and ring the notification bell. If you're on your phone, give your phone permission for notifications from YouTube so you will never miss one of our delightful videos and opportunities to support us and the algorithm. And if you don't watch us on video, if it's only in your ear holes, well, I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. And also, back to YouTube for a second. This applies to all of the formats, I suppose. But if one of our episodes speaks to you and you think that it would speak to one of your friends, share it. Shares are helpful.
If you think it'll speak to one of your enemies, still share it. Shares are helpful.
Sure. Controversy sells too. So we can, if you are listening to us on any of podcast platform, give us a thumbs up or a 5-star, give us a review. That would be great. Make sure that you are following or subscribing or whatever they call it on your particular app. And if you want to give us money, you could give us money by going to patreon.com/talking about the big stuff. We have 3 options. All 3 get you episodes early. $1 a month gets you just the episodes early with no extras. $3 a month gets you some extra content and gets you the episode early. And $10 gets you the video version of the uncensored content, as well as maybe even a little bit extra content. Sometimes sometimes Matthew goes on a real roll, and I'm like, nope. Someone has to pay $10 to get that, and so you get access to those that's $10 a month, $3 a month, or $1 a month, not an episode. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I genuinely mean this. We started off the episode with it. I am thankful for all of you. Matthew?
I'm just thankful that some of you stuck around to hear us talk about the big stuff all the way to the end.
Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. If you have thoughts or questions or topics you'd like us to tackle in a future episode, drop us a line on our social media channels. Engage with this video when you are now watching it as a VOD on YouTube. Send us an email. We love hearing from our listeners, bringing us topics, because if you leave it up to the three of us, we're going to eventually be talking about underwater basket weaving. So we would appreciate you guys reaching out a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe to Talking About the Big Stuff on your favorite platform. Give us a 5-star rating. Engage with it. Criticize us. We need to grow and be better, and you're going to help us be there. You're going to help us get to that point. It really helps us more to reach out and also to keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more big ideas and more thought-provoking discussions. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep talking about the big stuff.
The preceding podcast has been a Chocolate Diamond Media LLC production. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.